What happens when one of Hollywood's most beloved stars goes from family-friendly icon to being accused of faking his own fans? That's the story surrounding Will Smith right now, and it's turning into one of the most dramatic downfalls we've ever seen play out in real time. From the night he shocked the world at the Oscars to a bizarre new scandal involving artificial intelligence, the internet is asking a brutal question. Is Will Smith finished, or can he claw his way back into the spotlight? It all goes back to that night in March 2022. The Oscars stage, the bright lights, the millions watching worldwide. For decades, Will Smith had been the definition of charm. The Fresh Prince turned box office king, loved by families, respected by peers, admired as Hollywood's golden boy. Then, in a single heated moment, it all came crashing down. He walked on stage and slapped Chris Rock across the face, leaving the audience in stunned silence and the internet exploding in disbelief. That one move didn't just rattle the industry, it split his image wide open. Overnight, fans who had adored him for years swore they'd never support him again. The same man who had built a career on charisma and positivity was suddenly a symbol of arrogance and violence. Hollywood icons live and die by reputation, and Will's had been shattered in seconds. 3 years later, in 2025, he's been trying to piece it all back together. A comeback tour in Europe, dipping back into music, teasing sequels to some of his biggest hits. On the surface, it looked like the perfect redemption arc, a fallen star rebuilding himself through passion, discipline, and artistry. But that's not what the world saw. Instead of applause, whispers began to spread. Instead of celebration, rumors started flying. The buzz wasn't about how strong his comeback was, it was about how fake it looked. Then came the video, a concert clip posted online by Will himself, meant to show the roaring energy of his tour crowds. At first glance, it looked triumphant. Lights flashing, music pounding, fans screaming. But the internet doesn't miss a thing. Within hours, eagle-eyed viewers started pointing out odd details. Faces in the crowd that looked eerily similar. Movements that didn't flow naturally. Cheers that didn't match the sound. And soon the accusations exploded. The audiences were AI-generated. Hashtags began trending. Memes flooded timelines. The so-called proof of his grand comeback was being ripped apart frame by frame. Instead of praise, he was mocked as a desperate star trying to manufacture fans who no longer existed. The phrase fake crowd was everywhere. What was meant to be a moment of pride became a humiliation broadcast to the world. That should have been the time to step back, regroup, and address the controversy carefully. But Will didn't take that path. Instead, he turned on the very people who once stood by him. In interviews and statements, he lashed out saying longtime supporters were disloyal, two-faced, even liars. Zip it, shut it, I don't want to hear it. He snapped at critics who tried to express both love and concern. To many, it felt like a betrayal. This wasn't the Fresh Prince they grew up with. This was someone scorched by anger, pushing away the same fan base that had carried him to superstardom. For years, people defended him, excused him, even during his lowest points. But now he was dismissing them as fake supporters. It was a slap in the face, figuratively this time, but just as painful to watch. As if alienating fans wasn't enough, he took things further by diving headfirst into politics. In his fragile position, most would have avoided controversy, choosing safe ground to win back goodwill, not Will. He started throwing out bold attacks on Trump, MAGA supporters, and the current administration. Instead of healing old wounds, he was opening new ones, dragging his already divided audience into deeper fights. For someone trying to mount a comeback, picking political battles looked like playing with fire. And the flames grew hotter with every rant. The more he spoke, the more it felt like he wasn't trying to rebuild at all. He was burning down whatever goodwill was left. Behind the scenes, Hollywood was paying attention, and the silence was deafening. The co-stars and producers who once celebrated him were nowhere to be seen. Social media posts of support vanished. Red carpet appearances with friends stopped happening. Industry insiders started whispering that he wasn't just a liability, he was toxic. Will doesn't bring fans anymore, one executive reportedly said. He brings headaches. That kind of label is deadly in a business built on image. Studios don't want controversy that overshadows the movie. They want stars who bring audiences, not scandals. And right now, Will Smith's name is tied more to chaos than charisma. Still, he pressed on, teasing Men in Black 5, talking about sequels to old classics, announcing that music was his new focus. But instead of excitement, each announcement was met with skepticism. People couldn't see past the controversies. They saw a man doubling down, dragging politics into every conversation, mocking his own fans, and refusing to take responsibility for his past. Even when he admitted to guilt and shame, the moments were drowned out by the louder rants that followed. He wasn't convincing anyone that the Fresh Prince energy was back. Instead, he looked like someone spiraling further into bitterness. And then came the twist that shook the narrative even more. Some insiders claimed he wasn't spiraling at all, that it was intentional. According to them, Will knew exactly what he was doing, leaning into controversy as a strategy. After all, nothing gets attention like outrage. In a world where clicks equal currency, being the center of drama keeps you relevant, even if it's for the wrong reasons. Was this really a meltdown, or was it a calculated gamble to stay in the headlines? If so, it's one of the riskiest plays of his career. The hypocrisy, though, is impossible to ignore. On one hand, he lectures about unity, the collapse of Hollywood, and how politics are tearing the country apart. On the other hand, he fuels that same division with every speech. He complains about disloyal fans, yet attacks them for daring to question him. He calls out the media for mocking him, yet posts videos that practically invite ridicule. It's a cycle that feels endless, and the more it goes on, the harder it is to believe he'll ever escape it. Even in Hollywood itself, the reactions tell the story. The silence from old allies speaks volumes. The careful, polite comments from a handful of defenders sound more like obligations than genuine support. And the jokes, oh, the jokes. Comedians sliding in punchlines at award shows. Actors quietly liking shady tweets. Even Hollywood seems to be laughing at his downfall. For someone who once embodied success, that's brutal. Fame is fickle, and once your shine fades, even friends start stepping back. The AI crowd scandal was the nail in the coffin for many. For years, Will was celebrated as one of the most charismatic performers alive, a man who could command real audiences with nothing more than presence. Now, he was being accused of fabricating them with algorithms. Whether the accusations are true or not almost doesn't matter. Perception is reality, and perception says Will Smith needs artificial hype to stay afloat. For industry executives, that's all they need to know. Why gamble millions on someone whose brand sparks more memes than movie tickets? And yet, the story isn't finished. That's the thing about Will Smith. He's always been unpredictable. He's fallen before and found ways to rise again. He's reinvented himself more than once. Some believe music could still be his way back, that he could connect to audiences through rhythm and emotion where words have failed. Others think Hollywood will eventually forgive him, because talent is talent, and money talks louder than scandal. But right now, the odds look grim. Every step forward seems to be followed by 2 steps back. Every apology feels drowned out by the next rant. Every promise of a comeback gets undercut by controversy. Which leaves us here, in 2025, watching one of Hollywood's brightest stars caught between redemption and ruin. Is Will Smith rewriting his legacy with controversy on purpose? Or is this just the slow fade of a man who can't accept that the spotlight doesn't shine the same anymore? Fans wanted the entertainer back. What they got instead was a politician, a lecturer, and a star at war with the people who once loved him most. Maybe it's a strategy, maybe it's a spiral. Either way, the world is watching, and the question hangs in the air. Is this the end of Will Smith's golden era or the start of his riskiest comeback yet?